Hey folks, welcome to October newsletter. Hope your first month went well and that you're enjoying your time getting back in person with everybody and your students and collaborating with your peers. This month, I just want to kind of talk through a couple new features for some app platforms that we have, and just talk through some of the support resources that we continue to offer, and we hope that they're helpful for you. And just as a quick note too, I know we've helped a lot of folks. Our ticket system has blown up a lot this last couple months, and we're happy to help you out there, and we're happy to provide these resources that I'm going to talk about. And I hope you know that from us, we're not a really a cheerleader rah rah type of a group. We're just here to support you as best we can with the resources that we have, and we hope that what we send out is helpful to you. And again, if you have any questions about it, I think you guys know how to get a hold of us at this point. So I'm going to dive right into this month, and hope you guys are doing well, and we look forward to continuing to connect as we continue this school year. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, just as a helpful reminder, we're at our Launchpad website right now, and we have our tech support system right available to us here. And one of these terminology things that I don't know if everybody's always 100% aware of, and I want to just really hit up as a point of truth for us, is that yes, you can come in here and do new tickets when you have a question or when something's going wrong. But I want to point out this little KB thing here. We've talked about it before, and we'll continue to talk about it as we provide these resources for you. Because what KB is for us, it is our way to give you and all of us a framework for all the different technology tools and systems that we have in our district. It's a great place to get some video tutorials, some step-by-step guides, or to answer a little bit more involved questions. And so my goal for this month is actually I want to talk about communication a bit. And so I'm just going to type in the word communicate, and it searches our entire catalog of resources here. And we have this article here about communication with parents and students, and tools and resources associated with that. And we cover a bunch of different things in this article about, hey, here's how you can communicate with email. Here's how you can email your entire class from School Brains, and setting up Google as your default email just to make that super smooth. We even talk about how you can use Remind or Google Classroom and some other resources as well. So it's a great little framework to kind of talk about these different things. And one of the discussions we've had a lot with staff to start this year is how can you communicate? What are different ways of doing it? And we have like Remind as a platform, we have School Brains and our email as a platform, we have Google Classroom as a platform, and it might feel like we have all these different ways of doing the same thing. And the reality is that's true, right? We have a lot of different tools that you can take advantage of. And what it boils down to a little bit is a little bit of personal preference, right? Um, and honestly, what I would say is it might boil down to how does your audience going to receive the communication the best? Do you need two-way back and forth communication? Are your families more apt to respond via text or app notification, or are they really good with email? Are your colleagues better at working with an email or a Google Meet type of scenario, or is setting up a group and Remind going to work well, or is Google Classroom going to be an environment where your PLC can connect to the best? So there's going to be a little bit of that personal preference, as I call it, or just an opportunity to figure out, okay, this tool is going to work really well for this, but this tool might work better for this. And I'd encourage you to kind of just do a little bit of trial and error, figure out which way is going to be the best for you in your classroom or you and your peers, and just roll with it from there. Don't feel like you have to do everything, because sometimes a tool that you have, just because you have it, doesn't mean it's best for the job, right? The biggest encouragement I'd make for you, though, is number one, make sure it's a district provided resource that you're using. Make sure you're using your Haverhill email for everything. Make sure you're using a Remind and not a third party platform that the district doesn't have oversight of. Because one of the worst things that you could end up doing perhaps is to use a unsupported system, and then something happens in that platform that unfortunately we wouldn't be able to help you out with. So please use a district provided system with any of your communication. Number two, collaborate with your colleagues, collaborate with your peers. I see a lot of those grade level teams working well together to approach communication strategies the same way. so that all of the parents in that environment are working and receiving communication the same way. So as a collective grade level team or as a collective department, figure out the best strategy that you all will work on together. And then finally, certainly, loop us in as you need help. If you need to brainstorm ideas, if you're not sure how this platform works over another platform, that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about this and here to provide some resources and perhaps some outside insight on how some of this stuff can work. So KB article that kind of covers a lot of these things, a little different ideas, some pros and cons of this, and then certainly kind of covers a little bit more in depth of some guides and things of that nature. The other thing I want to point out is that beyond our tickets that you can come and submit, and beyond the KB self-help type of things, we do still offer training appointments. Has been a staple in our department for years. Honestly, one of the biggest reasons I came to this district is to do these training appointments almost a decade ago now. And I know I've worked with many of you on one-to-one or group settings or PD days. This is something that we still continue to do. And so from our Launchpad website, we have iSchool as a choice here. And as you visit this site, besides it having a foundational level of the types of things that we like to talk about in our training appointments, and just different ideas for what you might increase or add to your technology skill set, we have the ability to make an appointment. And in this, it's a pretty simple system, as you might expect. When you come in here and you go to book now, you'll have a choice of doing a remote session. So we still default to this, just nature of things. But if you're comfortable with Google Meet, as I think a lot of us are, you can book a training session that will just meet virtually. Or if it's better served, we do offer some in-person training as well. And so we'll actually come to you at your location, obviously, as the schedule allows. And so as you just come in here, just book your desired type of training, and you will be able to see our availability, and you just click through to get a confirmation there. And so take advantage of that. If sometimes that, even if it's only like a 15-minute check-in on Google Meet, maybe it'll help you to get through some list of questions that need some expansion off of maybe how our support ticket system need to go a little farther. That's what we're here for. So please take advantage as you see helpful. All right. So then the next thing I want to chat about just briefly here is our Remind system. So we've partnered with them this year. I know a lot of you have already used that platform in the past. We do have a basic KB article that kind of talks through the quick things to get you set up. How to log in, use your HPS Google account, how to accept your rostered classes, and that can be especially helpful if you had used Remind before. There's a guide on how to do that. And then a couple getting started and how-tos in terms of getting some messages out there, targeting your audience, and then managing some preferences. And I just want to show you a couple really quick settings in Remind that we've had a lot of questions about. So the first is I'm just on Remind here, and I have a new message with my example class. The first thing I'd want you to know about is that in this edit button right here, when you're getting to target the who you're sending it to, this has your class choice, of course, but then you also, right from a drop down here, you have the ability to target certain groups within that. So by default, if you're picking the class, it's going to go to everybody in that class, parents and students. If you just wanted to send a message to parents, make sure you choose that appropriate choice in that drop down menu. And so you can specifically target that large group if in case you wanted to differentiate that way. Another question we want to make sure everyone's aware of is that there is a translation available in this platform. Just keep an eye when you're composing this message in your compose screen here. Just click that button, make sure that translate is turned on. We do sync languages over from SchoolBrains automatically. Parents can also opt to set their own preferred language, or you can actually set it for them if you need to. But if you choose that, any text-based communication will be auto-translated. And the other thing I want to point out as well is that if you click on your name up in the corner and go to your account settings, there are a couple of preferences here that I'd want you to be aware of. The first would be under notification preferences. This is where you can connect or not connect to your phone number, and also choose some preferences for how do you want to get notified for all the different communications that could come back and forth in this platform. And so you can turn your phone number on or off, or turn off email notifications. If you only want to use the app, for example, you can choose the on off switches as appropriate here. The other thing I want you to know is that even if you connect your phone number to this here, that is where you can start receiving calls or using that voice communication ability. Connecting your personal phone number here keeps it protected from other people to see that. The benefit of Remind is they become that middleman between our personal contact information and the community we're communicating with. And so even if you connect your personal phone number in here, anytime you send a text or anytime you do a voice call in there, it masks that number and then gives you that generic number that goes out to the families, and that generic number becomes the contact point, not your personal account. So connecting your phone number here is really a potential convenience feature for you. It doesn't have to be something you do. You don't have to do it. You can strictly work with the email and the web-based platform. But if you do connect your phone number, you have the ability to do that text-based communication or that phone communication. But again, it's a private setup for you. Okay, so then the last thing I want to talk about really quickly here is Screencastify. So we have the district-wide licensing for this as well. Again, I know many of you have used this as a recording tool. I'm actually using it right now to create this video. But they added a new feature to the platform that I want us to be aware of. And so Screencastify, you can access from this little puzzle up in the corner of your Google Chrome, and you see it here as a choice. You can even pin it if you use it a lot. You can have it as a quick thing there. And it's a screen recording tool. Lets you record your screen, lets you record your microphone, lets you record your camera, of course. But what they've added as part of their tool set is something that they call interactive questions. And I'm actually going to throw a question in here so you can kind of see how it works. But basically, you have this recorded video, and at any point in the recorded video, you can insert checkpoint questions. And so it actually pauses the video at your designated times, and you insert a question, and folks can't go any farther. Any viewers of the video can't go any farther until they answer that question, and then you get to collect all that feedback in the form sense as you go through. So it's a great way to create a video resource and then put in some checkpoints and just check for understanding, ask some questions, make sure people aren't just fast forwarding through all your content and to get to the good parts, and that they're actually taking their time at the different stages in there. So it's a great new feature. It's part of our plan. And so I encourage you to check it out, and hopefully it's something that will be helpful for you. All right, and that's all I got for this month. Hope you guys are doing well. Again, continue to reach out via support ticket, via training appointment, peruse that knowledge base, and hopefully those resources will be helpful. And stay in touch. We'll continue to do these monthly newsletters. We'll continue to support you guys as best we can, and enjoy this process together. Take care.